Hello again and welcome to another episode of Hogan's Healthy Kitchen. Today we're making sprout granola, a favorite breakfast of mine and Andrew's. Got a lot of different things in, so excuse me ahead of time if I get a little mixed up. It's a fantastic breakfast, very healthy for you. Got lots of nuts, seeds, oats, all kinds of really good things. Okay, so let's get started. First things first, very important. The pumpkin seeds and the sunflower seeds that we have here, we've already soaked them for 8 hours and then put them in the dehydrator for 8 hours. And we've done the exact same for our pecans and our walnuts, soaked for 8 hours and then stuck in the dehydrator for 8 hours. Now we've got them in our packets. It's good to, when you put it in the dehydrator, you may, if you're doing other recipes too, you may want to label each tray that you do so you don't get your nuts mixed up, especially if you're doing nut milks or any other recipes. I label my packets, I label my trays for my dehydrator. I even label my Tupperwares. When I put my nut flours and so on, I put them in the fridge or in the pantry, in the cupboard, I label everything. It's something that you're also going to have to get used to, or I recommend doing, is labeling so you don't get all your different ingredients mixed. Okay, so first things first, let's take all our nuts and our seeds, put them into our food processor. This is a KitchenAid 13 cup food processor. It has a nice large bowl. The Cuisinart is also a fantastic brand of food processor. It has a longer warranty, but the bowls are a lot smaller and I like a bigger bowl. So this is my choice. So let's put all our different seeds here. This is pumpkin seeds. And sunflower seeds, we're putting into the food processor. Next we're going to put our pecans and our walnuts. What we're going to do in the food processor here is we're just going to spin it just a few times, not too much, not too little, just so we can get everything slightly ground, coarsely ground, and then mixed together. I'll guide you as I go along, but I'm more than likely going to use the pulse setting and the high setting as I go. Like I said, coarsely ground, not too much and not too little. So let's put on our food processor top, make sure it's locked in place. Another quick tip for those who don't know, who've never worked with the food processor and it might be your first time getting one, is the KitchenAid, when you lock the top, the machine will only work then. If the top is slightly out or one of the pieces is missing or is not 100% in, the machine will not begin. So make sure that everything, if your machine is not starting and you're pressing all the buttons and there's no power, it seems like it's off, make sure all your pieces and your parts are in, that your top is closed properly, and it should work. And the final note on the food processors is the Cuisinart is a much more complex machine in the regard that you can't just flip the top off, check your ingredients and flip the top back on. It's got a couple switches, safety switches, that you have to enable and disable before you can remove the top and then check your ingredients. So I work with the KitchenAid because it's easy come, easy go. I open it, check, close it, and I can carry on. Not a bunch of switches to fall. So let's try and coarsely process this all here. Okay, that's looking good. I'm going to do it for another couple seconds. Okay, that looks really good. Everything looks nice and chopped. Looks like it's been cut in halves and quarters. That's what we want. Okay, let's take our top off. Another thing you want to do, sometimes with the bowl full, it's not going to be as easy. And it's not too serious if you leave it, but it's an important thing. Sometimes I make the mistake, you want to remove your blade before, because sometimes the processor jug won't actually come undone. It will actually, you'll be able to loosen it, but the blade will lock it in, so you won't be able to remove. So I like to remove my blade from the mixture. And then the processor container easily comes off and you can work with it. Okay, so you click it off. you're going to put it in your mixing bowl. We have a nice beautiful cherry wood mixing bowl here. We're going to put our pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds and our pecans and walnuts into this bowl. Okay, now that's ready. This is something I usually do ahead of time now, but I'm going to show it to you because I don't think many people would know how to do this. And for those who do, this is just a reiteration on what you already know. Okay, my apples. I have a container full of apples here that I've just decored. I have a decorer, and it's maybe in another episode I'll show it. It's a little round thing that has a bunch of blades, and I turn the apple upside down from the back, and I've just pressed down once firmly, and it decores my apple and slices it into 5-6 slices all at once. I'll get to the decorer in a second and I'll show it to you. While we're here, let's put our blade back. We're going to process our apples. We're going to chuck this decored apple into our processor here. Okay. Now that it's all in there, make sure it's evenly spread out. Okay. The decorer looks, you can get a small version. I have a small version. You can also get a very large version, which I'm going to invest in shortly. I haven't really thought about what other fruits I can do with this, but this works great for apples. You turn your apple upside down, you press firmly on it, your core will come out the center where my finger is, and the rest of your apples you can see is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 slices. That's an apple decorer. My version is OXO. Okay. So let's put our processing top back here. Let's quickly put the pieces all together. We're going to just pulse this, because what pulsing is going to do is it's going to draw all the apples or whatever other ingredients is going to keep on drawing it down. Whereas if you just press it on low and high, it's just going to spin, 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 and all the bottom is going to get processed and the top pieces will not get processed. So we're going to pulse it so everything gets drawn and it creates a suction and everything will get blended. Okay, here we go. As you can see, I just pressed the pulse button for about 3 to 4 seconds, release, press the pulse button again for 3-4 seconds and release. I did that 2 to 3 times. And take my blade off. Remember to take your blade out before you remove the container. That's how it should look. You want it finely chopped as it is a perfect chop here. You don't want to do it too much because eventually it's going to start becoming apple juice. That's something you need to be careful with your food processors. You can over process things and then they become more like a soup or a drink mixture rather than small pieces. Okay. So now that we've done that, what we're going to do is we're going to take all this apple mixture and we're going to put it into our bowl with our nuts and our seeds. Let me just quickly move this so I can be in the right way. Let's take my food processor because we're done with the food processor. Let's get the mixing bowl in the picture here. Okay, so what we're going to do is add our flax seeds. Firstly, we're going to add this is flax seeds that are ground. You can see it's really minced up nicely. You can find these in your local store. I've tried with my food processor and my blender to try and do flax seeds and they just keep on sticking. So I would recommend, if you don't have a coffee grinder, a small little coffee grinder, that you rather buy minced or ground up flaxseed rather than trying with your Vitamix blender or your food processor. Okay, so ground flaxseed goes in. We're going to put in our apples here. I also highly recommend a good bowl, a nice stainless steel mixing bowl or a cherry wood one. The wider, the height is not so important, but the wider the bowl the better. Obviously you want a decent height, but the width is better than height for a mixing bowl. Okay. Another important thing that you'll see people do, especially these days in the store, they sell apples and all kinds of fruits with a label from the supplier. So make sure when you're working with your fruits, sometimes even your vegetables, that you removed all the labels before you actually even start doing the work, cutting up or decoring or blending or processing. Okay, so we've added our apples, we've added our flaxseed ground to the seeds and the nuts. Next we're going to add our raisins. Okay. Next we're going to add our oats. I'm just going to see this bowl is really becoming really full, so I'm not going to add all the oats here. We've got 8 cups of oats here. This is a rolled oats or flaked or buckwheat groats. You can even use buckwheat groats. Okay, so we're going to put some of the oats in here, as much as I can possibly fit, and I'm going to mix it all together. I'll add more as I go along. You just want to massage it and mix it all together from the bottom up. You want to mix the sunflower seeds and the nuts and the flaxseed and the raisins and the apples. Everything that you put in here, you want to get it nice and mixed thoroughly. I'm going to add some more oats here. This is the main ingredient to this whole mixture. You'll see is the 8 cups of oats. We've only used 2 cups of pecans, 2 cups of walnuts, 2 cups of pumpkin seeds, 2 cups of sunflower seeds, but this is 8 cups of oats. Again, if you can find, try and get organic oats, organic flaked or organic rolled oats, and then of course buckwheat groats. As far as I understand, buckwheat groats you can only get organic, but always check and ask. If you're unsure about a product, ask somebody in the store or a supervisor, and keep pushing for organic products. The more we push together for organic products, the healthier we'll all be, and we can get rid of GMOs altogether. For those who don't know what GMOs are, it's genetically modified ingredients. It's genetically modified organics. It's all different kinds of fruit and vegetables that have been modified in some way for the farmers to keep their crop longer. And it actually, I heard a very strange story about them taking, I think it was an octopus from the bottom of the ocean, and they removed some gene in that and they put it into their cows. It was a testing phase, and what ended up happening was at night when you drove past this person's farm, all the cows' noses, every cow that had been injected with this gene, I don't know what the purpose or what they were trying to achieve, but every cow that you would drive past, their nose would glow in the dark. It would glow blue in the dark. And so obviously they chucked that idea out the window. But this is exactly what GMOs do. They mess with your body. They do all kinds of things that the people who use them didn't plan on seeing or even think about. Okay, what we're going to do is just add our final bit of oats here to the mixture. Our bowl's getting really full. We're almost done here. We just need to add our spices and then our honey, and then we'll be done. Let's just do the final mixing here. This is going to go onto 4 Teflex sheets for your dehydrator, 4 trays. So at the end of this all, once we've mixed in the honey and the spices, and this should be about, for a family of 4, this could be about a a week's supply of granola. If everybody every morning is eating granola. If you're just a single guy or you a couple living at home or a single girl, this could last you easily 2 weeks if you're eating granola every morning. Way healthier than the store-bought granola. It's going to give you a lot of energy throughout the day and a lot of vitamins and nutrients. Okay, so now that we've got that all mixed up, next thing we want to do is we're going to take a bowl here, an empty bowl, and we're going to take our cinnamon. We're going to take our cinnamon here, we're going to put it into the bowl, we're going to mix all our spices here together. This is a beautiful thing called vanilla powder. It took us quite a while to find. It's got a beautiful smell and it adds a lot of flavor, vanilla flavor to the granola mixture. So that's your vanilla and your cinnamon. And then lastly, this is our salt. It's 2 teaspoons of fine sea salt. Okay, so what we're going to do is just mix that all together with our fingers. You're going to see the salt and vanilla just disappear into the cinnamon. What we got here is 3 tablespoons of cinnamon, 2 tablespoons of vanilla powder, and then 2 teaspoons of sea salt. The vanilla powder, if you cannot find it in your store, you can find vanilla pods or vanilla beans, which you can then also use a coffee grinder to blend. And that should make your vanilla powder. That's where vanilla powder essentially comes from, is blended vanilla beans or coffee ground vanilla beans. Okay, now that we've mixed it nicely, we're going to put this over the mixture. We're going to mix it in. We're not going to use it all, we're just going to mix it here. For small, just mix it, and then we'll put the rest of it again. A lot of mixing with your hands. Another quick thing now, I'm thinking about the apples. I used fresh apples. I decored them. I bought them at the store, decored them, and as you saw, I used the food processor, processed them, and I just chucked them into the mixture. I like fresh apples. You can, however, also dehydrate your apples like you did with the rest of your nuts and your seeds for 8 hours. I like fresh apples. I know that the fresher something is, the more nutrients and enzymes it has for your body, and I like the more nutrients and enzymes I can get, the better for me. But feel free to dehydrate your apples if you like. I didn't do mine. Okay. Let's add our last bits of powder here. Vanilla, cinnamon, and some salt. Okay. Okay. Now that we've got it nice and mixed, we're going to put in our honey. I haven't dehydrated my honey, but you can dehydrate your honey. All it's going to do is basically, it won't lose any of the nutrients or enzymes in the honey. You can just put it in the dehydrator maybe for 2 hours. The honey should turn a darker color brown. And that's just going to make the honey easier to work with, easier to mix. It's going to roll out of the bowl.
Sean,
Yes.
I know, I'm throwing you a curveball on camera.
Yes. Cranberries, yeah?
I like cranberries. So
Awesome.
could you put some of that into that bowl and make mine with cranberries?
Perfect, we can do.
Thank you.
JJ wants a special VIP bowl of granola. Yeah. So, we'll have to do as the lady says. Let's transfer some granola across. We're going to mix in while I'm busy with Jay's bowl. This is Jay's mixing bowl. Put some cranberries in here for Jay. maybe add a bit more of granola.
Thank you.
Like I say, this granola is my favorite breakfast thing. I love having it with a carob nut milk, or just even a plain almond or Brazil nut milk. I love the chocolate flavor. You'll find when you pour in your nut milks, don't use cow dairy with this. I only advise using the nut milk, an almond or a Brazil nut milk. Stay healthy. You don't want to ruin this health with a cow's milk or cow's dairy. I love having my carob or almond milk with this mixture because the granola actually sucks all the milk up, and you're getting all that nutrients and enzymes together. Okay, Jay, there's your beautiful mixture.
Yes!
You can see all the red cranberries smiling at you. Okay, put that one side. Okay, back to us normal people's granola. Let's add in the honey here. Give it a final mix. Okay. Like I was saying, you can dehydrate your honey if you like. All it does is make it run better. It doesn't lose any of the nutrients or enzymes. Okay, so let's put in our honey here. Let's just see, the amount of honey we're using here is 2 cups. 2 cups of raw honey. While I'm thinking of the honey, the best place to source your honey would be if you can find a local beekeeper that can supply you with the honey that you know is organic, that hasn't been pasteurized or touched in any way chemically. I would suggest that. I highly recommend finding a local beekeeper, making a friend with him, teaching him about the Torah and our Creator. He should already know because he works with bees. But that's the safest and most nutritious honey you're going to get. And if it's an experienced and been in the business for a while beekeeper, you have all different kinds of flavors. The flavor we're using today, it's raw honey, but it's a clover flavor. I've heard of avocado flavors and lavender flavors and all kinds of flavors. You can make your honey taste unique. It doesn't have to just be a plain honey. Okay, so let's get this honey here, this raw honey, all over the show. Again, I'm wearing gloves, especially for the honey. Otherwise you won't be able to mix anything. Even with the gloves, you can see it's hard. The honey making everything stick. So I highly suggest getting some vinyl gloves, not latex gloves. Latex gloves are toxic. Google it. My best friend, my right hand man, is Google. Anytime that I'm unsure about something or I read about something on the ingredients in a product in a store, I go and I Google it. I see what does that mean. Okay, let's just get this honey everywhere here. Today I was reading about almond milk. I saw it in the store, a local store here close to us, almond milk, and the 2 ingredients that I saw were locust bean gum and gellan. I think it's pronounced gellan gum, G-E-L-L-A-N, gellan gum. 2 things I have never heard in. Our local or our common enemy carrageenan was there, but locust bean gum and gellan gum, I still have to research it. I have no clue what it is, but I get highly suspicious when I see things that I've never heard of before or seen before in my 30 odd years of living in milk. Okay, so now that we've mixed everything, what we're going to do here is we're going to transfer it onto our dehydrator tray. This is a Sedona dehydrator tray. We're going to spread it nice and evenly all across. The more evenly and more spread out your granola is, the more it's going to dry nicely. You want to definitely leave some gaps in your granola. You don't want it to be clumpy and wet and have some parts dried and some parts not dehydrated. So this is our dehydrator tray. We're spreading out our mixture here. we're going to leave this again, even though we've dehydrated and soaked these seeds and nuts already for 8 hours of soaking and 8 hours of dehydrating. Now that we've made this whole mixture together, we're going to dehydrate it for a further 8 hours. Your choice, it's your preference. You can leave it for 4 or even 6, but I would definitely recommend dehydrating it at least for 4. If you leave it longer than 8, you'll start to lose a lot of the flavor. The nutrients will start to disappear. Make sure it's as evenly spread as you can. Like I said, this is going to make 4 trays, this mixture. And that's it. Sprout granola. I hope you enjoyed. I thank you for tuning in. And thank you, Jay, for allowing me to learn something new with your cranberry sprout granola. To all of you at home, God bless and keep well. I'm out. Till next time.